WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana, where you don't need to be an expert if you learn something new every day.
The writing on the wall. We've all seen it, even if we didn't want to. The writing on the wall isn't meant to be ignored, but sometimes we just can't help ourselves. Jerry and Ernie, they were both so good with words, the best kind of good, experts. But reading each other, that was a language of a different sort. We know that Ernie never wrote about Jerry. But like any artist, the more they work, the more of them spills out, despite their intent. Maybe those words have been up on the wall this whole time.
Hello, this is Ernie Pyle, the Hoosier Vagabond, and this is that girl who rides with me.
I can take it.
Welcome to the Ernie Pyle Experiment, Episode 11, A Bed of Coals.
I'm just going to leave this box here with you. No, you're not. Oh, yeah. Oh. You ought to listen. I mean, I can't take this with me anymore. I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, have you ever listened to some of those words?
I was there. Who cares?
I'll tell you what, from the notes you keep, it doesn't look like you don't care.
Jerry does that. She probably notes all the reels.
Oh, well, the note here says Olive Hotel, Miles City, Montana, Denver Williams,
Well, sure.
Dr. Rexford G. Tugwell, and it looks like you're writing.
Well, it was. I was just keeping up with her tradition, I suppose. She wasn't with me on that trip, remember? Yeah. I took her to her sister Poe in Denver for a spell. Jerry is going to be an uncomfortable trip, so...
Uncomfortable. Yeah, I remember.
Poor Poe only gets to see her when I need to pawn her off. Jerry ends up there in terrible shape. I tell you, just once I'd like to show up there, visit like normal family.
Sure. Well, I was listening to some of these reels this morning.
Boy.
I got into this stuff from Montana here. It got me curious, so I reread what came of it in your column. I want you to read something.
No, I don't need to read anything.
Here, look, read it, you fathead.
I know what it's about, Lee. I know the guy that wrote it.
Take it with you then, you stubborn goat. But read it. That's an order. Anyway, this interview in the Olive Hotel.
Yeah, it's a nice hotel. We were up in my room working on a few bottles of beer after dinner. It's a nice little restaurant next door.
I listened to it this morning.
Did you now?
Olive Hotel, Miles City, Montana. 1 year prior. Ernie sits with the head of the WPA Relocation Administration, Dr. Rex Tugwell, and a local rancher, Denver Williams.
It was Sherman Stevenson. He was in line yesterday for relief. Yesterday. 2 months ago, that man owned 800 head of cattle.
I can't imagine.
It don't skip anybody.
My God, this is awful.
It'll end sometime.
What do you think, Dr. Rex?
Can't be too sure. Trouble is, everyone is so spread out. No grass growing for the cattle and horses. No money for feed. Cattle don't have enough energy to march to market. When they do, the farmers owe that to the bank anyway.
That is a true story.
It might be that this land out here isn't meant for farming and ranching.
Might be.
Been farming it for only what?
Less than 50, 60 years for sure.
Sure.
The gate swings post to post from year to year. Never know what you get, but when it's good, oh boy, it's good.
Has it been this bad since you've been here?
Not since I've been here, no.
And how old are you?
46. I've been at work paying my own way since I was 11. Cowboying mostly. That's how I got up here. That was 1912, working all around Powder River country.
Oh, wow.
Then the big outfits closed up shop. Some friends started setting up for themselves, and I thought that would be a good idea. So we bought 1,000 acres about 120 miles from here, up here past McLeod.
Right.
Raised between 40 and 100 cattle a year.
Okay.
Good years. Got myself in pretty good shape.
Those are the years that trick a fellow.
Oh, you know.
That's when more folks come and throw their hat in.
Yeah, that happened. That's for sure.
Now we have a lot to think about. Farm stock and people.
Yeah.
But we can't let people die.
Well, I hope not.
That's our main concern at the RA.
Well, I appreciate the good work, Doc. I might even accept a bit of relief at this time, to be honest. I wouldn't be here if I didn't need it.
Sure. I figured. That's why we're here.
But I'm not relocating.
Well, that's your choice. Would you mind if I told you what it's like in our relocation communities?
Well, if you must.
Oh, well, it has been an uphill climb with folks, I tell ya.
Yeah.
Convincing Congress, you might think, is the difficult part. But getting folks like yourself to reconsider life in a different place, that is the tough job.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, there were just the Blackfeet that made this place work, and they weren't planting anything. They took what they could, and if that wasn't enough, their population rose and fell accordingly. If you're not an Indian, I doubt you have the constitutional makeup to survive out here.
I get some hunting in, like the Crow and Blackfeet.
If you're hunting and fishing, there isn't much room for anything else.
No, there isn't.
What if I were to tell you that the wonderful thing about our relocation camps, communities, the wonderful thing is a guy could get some work there and have plenty of time to himself to get things like some fishing in.
You don't say.
A lot of folks are making their way to these places, getting back on their feet. They're learning new trades and ways to make a life in town.
That's true.
You can learn a manufacturing job, there's steel work and mining. One town is teaching the skills needed to build radio and electrical towers. Electric lines are being put in across the Rockies right now, among other places. There's work in the oil fields of Bakersfield.
I can already do the work of the oil field.
Oh.
I'd hate to have to go back being as old as I am.
When did you learn the oil trade?
Drought of 19, I was doing quite well by then. Then the drought came. I had to go to the bank for a loan. Fellow said, well, the way I figure your assets are worth about $35,000. Next year, more drought, and I sold the cattle and settled up. The banker said, well, the way I figure your assets now, you're worth about $250.
Oh, boy.
That's all over the country.
So I left for the oil fields, northeast Colorado. Never even seen an oil rig. It's good for us to learn new things.
That's the spirit? Yeah. The spirit of what we at the Relocation Administration are trying to do.
I got on as a tool dresser, then sent for Dorothy, my wife. Got to drawing $18 a day.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, that was pretty good. Saved $3,500 that year, then went back to Montana and staked up to start a new ranch. Got into pretty good shape again, and then in 1924, things went the other direction.
What direction?
Rain.
Oh.
Rain.
Oh,
Cows got bogged down on the hillsides and died. Steers slid over banks,
so sad.
broke their necks. Little pigs huddled up in the rain and smothered to death.
Oh, no.
So we went to the oil fields again. 3 times that happened. Twice drought, once rain. But I got things going again and built up the 1,000 acres I'm on now, and here we are again.
Yeah.
Dry as the heart of a haystack.
So, here you are.
Indeed. Here I am. Thank you for the beer, Ernie.
Oh, well, that's my pleasure, Denver. It's kind of good, too, don't you think? It's made in Butte, Montana.
I like it anyway. How'd you fellows meet?
Well, I write this column, see?
I heard that.
Yeah, Dr. Tugwell here. We've known each other a while. He's a Washington guy. I get hold of these Washington guys quite easily. It's where my home paper is. Well, we decided to partner up, so we're circling around finding folks like yourself. I try and find a person and tell his story. Through that, folks can get a better idea of the whole shebang. Folks kind of put themselves in your place, Mr. Denver Williams. See, the story here between us kind of writing itself. I appreciate the openness that you have with me.
Oh, I think that is just the beer.
Would you like another beer?
Sure.
Sure. Doc, would you like another beer?
No, thank you.
You sure?
Well, I think I need to say one more thing.
All right.
All right, go right ahead.
I am wondering, Mr. Williams, why someone would rather stay where they are in a dead landscape, with death and dying all around. Why would a fellow want to stay there and not take the help being offered?
I can't speak for anybody else, Doc. I still have 3 milk cows, my workhorses, bunch of pigs.
They won't last.
No, they won't. Another 2 weeks, maybe. I finally gave away some pigs, but I can't even give away the rest. Nobody can feed them. Pine trees up in the hills are dying, cones falling off, but...
I can get you set up in a house.
We're the stayingest fools in Powder River country I ever saw. We haven't got sense enough to know when we're left. Thank you for the beer.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to go now, do you?
I reckon.
Offer stands, Mr. Williams.
Thank you. Well, until next time, then.
Until next time. Thank you for coming by.
It was nice meeting you.
It sure
Okay,
was.
then.
It sure
Yeah.
was. You have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
Isn't he a swell fella, Ernie? He's the kind that's got to have help, and right now. He's worth helping.
Washington Daily News, back in Lee Miller's office.
You have to admit that was very compelling.
Yeah, I suppose.
I wonder what old Denver is up to these days. I wonder how he's faring.
Yeah, me too. Maybe I'll circle back up there and try and fight him sometime.
Congress is pushing mighty hard to kill the relocation administration right now. Everyone thinks it's too socialist, even the liberals.
Really?
There's talk of folding it into the Farm Security Administration.
Well, that's the first I've heard of this.
Yeah. I wonder how effective they believe Dr. Tugwell is, or can be.
Huh.
Maybe, here's an idea, maybe I'll run your drought series again, reprint yours, and then get Novak to do an investigative follow-up on
Yeah.
Tugwell. What do you think?
All right. I wouldn't mind. Give me a chance to pad the old cushion.
Yeah, you could. It's getting thin. You're in your own kind of a
boy.
drought.
Oh, no.
You are.
Yeah, just because you say a thing doesn't make it so.
I don't know.
All you do is make me feel my ulcer, damn you, Lee Miller. Get off my
Senior
back.
editor.
I have never let the paper down.
No, you haven't, but I'll
Okay.
rerun the Drought Bowl series next week anyway.
That's fine with me.
Okay. That'll leave me with a dozen or more Hoosier Vagabonds, and I can stretch those if I need to. I'll get the word out to headquarters. That's what I'm up to here.
If you need
Maybe
to.
pass the whole idea down the line. It'll give you a
If
couple
need-
weeks to
You
write.
don't have to stretch anything. You get a handful before we leave. What the hell you think I've been doing while I've been here?
You've been being a zookeeper. Jerry's been drunk every time I've seen her this visit.
Then don't look at her.
So you agree.
I'll do no such thing.
Has she? Been drunk the whole time?
That's for me to know and you to shut up.
Remember what I said last year after the Drought Bowl stories started coming
It was
in?
the best stuff I ever wrote.
I did, yes. I also said something else, too.
That's all I remember.
It felt to me like you were writing about her.
Who, Jerry?
Jerry.
Well, people get all sorts of ideas about things that I write about.
And this zipper story.
What about
I think you're doing it again, the one about the wind. Same
She
thing.
doesn't like me writing about her.
All right.
Well, let's talk about something else.
I think you get rid of her so you can write about her.
I don't get rid of her.
I mean, you know what I mean.
When I have to leave her somewhere, I just start missing her. I think about why I can't be with her at that moment. I start blaming things. I don't.
Oh, come on.
I don't even know I'm doing this. How I feel in the
sorry.
moment. I like having family around.
I'm sorry, I know you do.
She should be there at my side, and when she isn't, I'm sad, and I write what comes out. That's it. I'm not
Okay.
writing about her, you nitwit.
All right.
All right.
This much feeling coming through your work tells me something is coming.
Can we change the subject?
All right. Ohio wants you for an extended stay.
No.
Oh, what do you have against little old Ohio anyway?
Oh, what do you have against your face wearing a haircut like that?
Oh, ha ha. Mm-hmm. Can't you muster any feeling for Ohio?
Of course not.
Come on. You can go alone. You should go alone. She'll kill me for suggesting it, but you can blame me. I can take it. Look how tired you are. Have you seen how tired you look?
I don't have to.
It'd be like you're slapping her on the wrist. She has to get her act together, and you tell her I'm coming down on you for the quality of your stuff. And you'll be gone just a few weeks, and it's
What does that
Ohio
mean?
anyway.
Quality of my stuff.
Your writing is sagging.
What?
By the time you get back, she'll have dried up a bit.
You don't think she knows something about the quality of my stuff?
Oh, I don't want to go there, man.
You mind your own business.
Okay. Where are you going next?
I don't know yet.
Here's an idea. Ohio could use you.
I am not going
Come on,
back
just
there.
listen.
I,
Now
you- I-
listen.
I know the sales pitch, Lee. You can eat it.
Oh, all right. I will. But listen. Do one story in Ohio on your way to wherever
Once
else you're
one of
going.
the Ohio papers gets word I'm there, I
I
won't
know.
hear the end of it.
You and me both. Believe me. Just do your best. Do a handful of interviews.
You just said one.
One hand. I was counting the fingers on one hand.
Boy.
Come on.
You always get me here like this. I'll tell you what, I will head that way, and I can't
Good.
tell you when I'll get there, though.
That's fine. Thank you. As long as I can tell them you're on your way.
I don't want to get any phone calls in a hotel room
Okay.
from them.
All right.
Long night. Wait,
No,
wait.
Of course.
Okay. All right. If I head upstate New York first and cross the Alleghenies or somewhere, I'll get there sometime.
Good.
I tell you always get me. I'll get those other columns out to you before we head out, so.
Listen, Ernie, if she's causing you a drought, if you want to get out of the heat...
Lee, I swear to the good fella upstairs, I'm about to take all those metaphors and stick them
Just send her home for a while. We can keep an eye on her. You're becoming accustomed to this as normal.
Ear. I was going to say stick them in your ear. Get it? In your rear.
Oh, brother. That is... I can't even...
My dad said that to me before we left. Thanks for the concern. I mean it.
You bet.
I'll take care of it.
Later that evening, at the Pyle apartment,
So, Jerry, they're rerunning the Drought Bowl series.
From last year?
Yeah, I talked to Lee. Mm-hmm.
Good. That'll give us some space to pat our cushion.
Yeah, that's what I said. Well, on the way out of the office, I swiped this from Lee's desk. It's from the Drought Bowl series last year. I just wanted you to hear this again. Listen. I drove nearly 2,000 miles around the Drought Bowl, and the whole United States seemed to be tortured and wounded in various degrees with drought and heat. But in the bowl, there was complete destruction. It started about 100 miles from the eastern border of the Dakotas and extended all the way to western Montana, taking in both the Dakotas and a corner of Wyoming. It seemed to me that South Dakota had suffered the most. In that world of drought, you finally arrived at a point where you looked and no longer said, "My God, this is awful." You became accustomed to dried field and burned pasture, day upon day, driving through that ruined country. And gradually made you accept it as a vast land that had been that way yesterday, would be tomorrow, was that way 100 miles back, would be 100 miles ahead. The story was the same everywhere. The farmers said the same thing. The fields looked the same. Became like the drone of a bee, and after a while, you hardly noticed it at all. It was only at night when you were alone in the heat and unable to sleep that the thing came back to you like a living dream, and you once more realized the stupendousness of it. Then you could see something more than field after brown field, or a mere succession of dry water holes, or the matter-of-fact resignation on farm faces. You could see then the whole obliteration of a great land and the destruction of a people, and long years of calamity for those of the soil and the emptiness of life that knows only struggle and ends in despair. I'd seen a great deal of this in the past few years. Sometimes at night when I was thinking too hard, I felt there was nothing but leanness everywhere, that nobody had the privilege of a full life. Of course, I was wrong about that. I had just seen too much of the ruination of our great land. The beautiful valleys and hillsides of Tennessee washing away to the ocean, leaving a slashed and useless landscape. The raw, windy plains of western Kansas, stripped of all life. A one-time paradise turned into a whirlpool of suffocation. In the vast rolling Dakotas, where huge herds once grazed with the freedom of birds, now parched and cramped and manhandled by man and the elements into a bed of coals.
That was a good one, Ern. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Next time on the Ernie Pyle Experiment.
Please stop drumming on the dashboard.
You haven't interviewed a lot of women, you know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I want to know why you don't.
Of course I do. What are we talking about?
Been a while.
That doesn't mean I never do.
Where are we headed?
Hudson River Valley.
I approve.
Okay, then.
No, I said I approve and that's it. You don't get to approve what I approve. And I'm gonna find you a woman to interview.
No, you're not.
Stop telling me what to do.
So why does she want you to talk to me? She said you were famous.
Look, she always says stuff like that whenever she's...
Drinking?
Well, yeah, if it were just drinking, I think I could handle it. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do.
Back next week with more stories from the Ernie Pyle Experiment. I'm Dan V. Prescott. The good road will never end if you can only stay on it.
The Ernie Pyle Experiment is produced at WFIU on the campus of Indiana University. For complete credits of cast and crew for each episode and to find past episodes, visit WFIU.org/Ernie Pyle Podcast. Also, find the Ernie Pyle Experiment wherever you access your media.
WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana. I don't know what to say. I don't even know who I am anymore. The wife and I had reservations at the Uptown last night. And while we sat at the bar, me enjoying my chartreuse and Lillian and Lefroy, waiting on our two-top, the Snickers and the Giffords were magnifiques. I stared at each face in the mirror of the back bar, steely-eyed, ready for fisticuffs, when, as if an echo from a once pristine, water-filled quarry now filled in with dirt and debris, because folks just can't leave well enough alone, a voice called from the wilderness, "Monsieur, on and on! Monsieur, on and on! On and on!" God, I hate the French. WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana, where you don't need to be an expert if you learn something new every day.
Welcome back. Well, old Ernie and Jerry Pyle have left Washington again on their greater quest in search of whatever flotsam and jetsam the road may bring. Yet an answer hangs in the balance to a question they don't know is being asked. That answer is yes. Yes, it is possible for two people to be on the same journey while on two different trips.
Hello, this is Ernie Pyle, the Hoosier Vagabond, and this is that girl who rides with me.
You and what army?
Welcome back to the Ernie Pyle Experiment, Episode 12, The Simple Proposition.
Please stop drumming on the dashboard.
You haven't interviewed a lot of women, you know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I want to know why you don't.
Of course I do. What are we talking about?
Been a while.
That doesn't mean I never do. Stop it, please.
What are you afraid of?
Leave me alone.
You don't think women have anything interesting to say?
Go write your own column if you want to.
This is my column! I'm getting a little tired of you doing whatever the hell you want with it.
All right, can we calm down, please? I'd rather not crash this car at the moment.
Standing there getting your picture taken.
What now?
Yeah, for some wingdid gets a new brownie, I'll have to stand still for him. Feel like idiots staring back at him. For what?
A photo, I guess?
What's that?
I have no idea.
Boy, I don't either. That fat yellow sitting next to me, puts his hand around your waist. Like it's a natural thing to do. Reach out, put his hand on me. It's just a photo. Hey, everybody, it's a photo. Put your hands where they don't belong.
How does this have to do
I'll
with
tell you what I have to do with. You ever been standing there for a photo and some fat, greasy, sweaty, mustard-loving old pervert?
Mustard?
Yeah, he's got mustard all down his tie.
Okay.
Probably from 2 days ago. Street corner, yellow Billy Mustard. The kind of disgusting man he is.
Is this someone that I know?
You know all of them.
Well, I try not to.
He stands next to me, inching his way over, squeaking his little patent leather feet toward mine so his hip can be touching mine.
When did this happen?
It always happens. He pulls his shoulder out of his suit coat, loosening his arm like his Mel Audie's gonna get ready to hit a home run. And then, he doesn't just put his arm around me. No, he slides it down my back, down the small of my back, the whole way, reaching around, across my arm. His little fat stubby fingers get a mitt full of my boob.
Oh, boy.
You think it's funny?
No, I
And he
don't.
yanks me over. He stands there like it's just right as rain. This is how everybody stands together, don't you know? This photo comes out. My dress is covering his hand, and nobody's the wiser.
Jerry, can you stop?
I can.
Hey! Hey, Gene Krupa!
Where the hell are we?
New Jersey.
Where are we headed?
Hudson River Valley.
I approve.
Okay, then.
No, I said I approve, and that's it. You don't get to approve what I approve.
All right.
Even that sounds like you're making approvals of my approvals of... That's my decision. Get down here. I'm running paper from the basement. Bunnies. We're old men limping around, chomping cigars, farting right in front of us. We had to go in twos. Didn't want to get caught anywhere.
Is this when you went to Washington
That's when they
during
found
the
out
war?
I could type and got locked up in the office with one of them. He's Catholic. Yeah, he's all right. To Mass every day. I lucked out compared to some of my friends. Boy, did he think he was smart. He'd dictate a letter to me and I have to correct his grammar as I went along. Then he'd read it after and argue that I clipped his run-on sentences and he had no business in that job and I made him look like a sitting president.
I bet you did, yeah.
Whole world is like that, Ernie. But I'm me. And I will not be a George Sand. If they don't want me, I will not pay them one moment of my time. I am not changing, not for anybody. And I'm gonna find you a woman to interview.
No, you're not.
Stop telling me what to do.
Please stop.
Don't tell me what to do! Right here! Pull over! You're interviewing her! You...
Oh, boy. Well, hello. I'm sorry. Your name again?
Edna Craddock.
Edna Craddock. Thank you for playing along, Edna. I'm Ernie.
I figured I should. That woman is very insistent.
Yeah. She is. She's my wife.
You always let her walk all over you like that?
No. Well, she isn't always like that.
Is she... She seems erratic. Is she stable?
What do you mean by stable?
Mentally.
Oh. Well, yes.
My brother went to the Mayo Clinic. Doctors here at home said he was schizophrenic. Anyway, they lobotomized him.
Oh. Oh, wow. Well, did that work for him?
Worked out well for us. Not for him. What a handful he was. He's at my folks now. He sleeps a lot.
I could use some sleep myself.
So why does she want you to talk to me? She said you were famous.
Oh, well, look, she always says stuff like that whenever she's...
Drinking?
Well, yeah, if it were just drinking, I think I could handle it.
Oh, heroin.
No, not heroin.
Is
Jeez.
one thing better than the other?
No, maybe, I don't know.
I guess some are tolerated more than others.
Sure, I suppose.
What is she tolerating at the moment?
Well, what she does... Edna, I thought I was supposed to be interviewing you.
That's what your wife said. I didn't agree to anything.
I tell you.
My brother used to take all sorts of drugs and drink. Before the visit to the Mayo Clinic, they sent him for the Lexington cure.
Oh.
He didn't much care for that.
No, I don't suppose anyone would.
My folks had a lot of money at one time.
Mm-hmm.
They still think they can buy their way out of most situations. But they couldn't buy my brother into changing his ways until they put him down like a dog.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I can't imagine. My family life had always been so predictable. Stability had an innate hold over all of us, my mom, dad, and me. There was never any yelling. Nobody yelled. I took that for granted, that's for darn sure. We get mad at each other, but we kept level heads. Now, I sure wish she and I had a little bit of that.
Well, you're not dealing with a person anymore. You're dealing with the demons. Mayo Clinic thought they were dealing with a person, too.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm getting a little uncomfortable here. I'm not sure what to do. This is getting a bit strange for me. I think I'll pack up here.
Not sure why you keep turning tail. Someone has to face it.
Well, did you face it with your brother?
No. And because of that, I feel I should have. Maybe stepping in and saying something at the time wouldn't have worked either. I don't know. But I didn't. So my advice leans the way it does out of guilt, I guess.
Sure.
I left it all to my folks. They got the brunt of it. I feel pretty low about that still. I left them hanging out to dry.
You on good terms now with your folks?
Yes.
Good. That's good. I miss having family around. I wonder what they're up to all the time.
Live far apart, do you?
Yes, I do.
Feeling nostalgic?
Yeah. Yes, well, see, Jerry, my wife, she always says, finding yourself nostalgic for something before you've left it is the meaning of life.
What does that mean?
You don't know what that means?
You don't know what that means?
It makes sense to me.
Does it? Does it?
I don't know.
Trying to get back to something, are you? Well, looks like my train is coming.
Yep. Uh-huh.
For what it's worth. I wouldn't throw her away, but you do need to find a way to keep her.
Jerry sits in the car, talking to the machine, and watching as Ernie gets an interview outside.
Hello, my boyfriend. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime Jim. Hello, Jimmy boy. You want to talk? Well, we made it up to a town on the Hudson River. Newburgh, New York. Beautiful place. Haunting. Supposed to be some nice dress shops up there. I've heard of this place. The girls in Manhattan like to come up here, get their dresses. Bunch of dress shops. So, I think I might see about a new dress. Ernie's gonna buy me one. He just doesn't know it yet. Ernie's got some talker here on the sidewalk, and he won't shut up. Ooh, he's checking his pockets for another tobacco pouch he's out. Hold on. Ernie! Ernie, you looking for this?
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Your wife?
That's my wife, yes.
Ma'am? So what, are you two just passing through?
Yes.
Just passing through.
Nice car.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah. So you were saying?
I was saying, I'm a craftsman, not a handyman. I can't be wasting my time using inferior materials. I do things the right way, the old way. I have very few apprentices on my jobs. Mm-hmm. I don't waste my time with stupid apprentices. Look, a lot of these guys will pad their crews with apprentices, have maybe one or two actual tradesmen on the floor at any given moment. Not me. Look around. Any of these buildings that you were talking about, none of them built with fly-by-night, give me a handout, cry me a river. Oh, times are so hard. What do I do? Wait.
Oh, boy.
Cry babies that drink too much, can't get to work on time, slow as molasses. I mean, really, how old are you? You old enough to have been in the war?
The war. Well, I missed it. Almost, though.
You missed it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Well, some of these guys right here, let me tell you, could have went and didn't.
Oh, I went. I was getting ready for basic training and it ended.
guess that's fair enough. But see, these contracts they're handing out now, some of these guys have a habit of skimping. I mean, you have to match the quality of the other building eras. This isn't some boom town now. This is Newburgh, the pearl of the Hudson. If we start making some of these skyscrapers here, forget it. You don't want skyscrapers here. That says you think you're more important than the beauty of the Hudson. Can't do that, Ernie. Not here.
How many guys on your crew?
I got 2 crews, 3 in a pinch, 4 and 5 when necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, 150 guys, solid. I get more when necessary. You don't need them all at once, mind you. I mean, you can't bring the plasterers in before the walls are up, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So, I have to keep jobs, going all the time. Banks aren't in the game of lending right now, but Roosevelt's in a giving disposition. You know, he's from right across the river, don't you?
Yeah.
Hyde Park is up past Poughkeepsie,
Hyde Park, yeah, sure.
Other side.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that has something to do with today. I don't know. He's a Hudson River guy. Today they're handing out contracts for 7 buildings upstairs here at City Hall.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is good. I have a good idea. I'm gonna get about half of those.
You're confident?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I'm confident. This is a game. It's all a game.
Wow. Sounds like you're more than confident then.
Yeah. A little birdie told me something, you know what I mean?
Sounds like you're more than just a handyman.
I'm a craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, what? Is your wife holding a sausage? What is that in your wife's hand?
Well, let me explain.
Say, mister, what are you trying to pull?
I'm going to tell you what,
hey,
what
now,
she's
what's
holding in her
what's
hand.
She doing?
There.
What's she got in?
Yeah,
What is this?
it-
Who are you?
Just settle down
What are you,
now. Let me
a
tell you.
pinko? Hey,
I'm
fellas,
not a pinko.
look what we got over here.
I'm
we got
not a pinko. Get your
pinko.
hands off of
Let's
me
string
now.
them
I'm
up,
not a
fellas.
pinko.
Get your hands on
I'm not a
him.
pinko. Get your hands off of me. I'm not a bad person. I am not a bad person here. You would just stop and listen to me for just a moment. Get your hands off
back in the car. Get out of town.
Well,
Before we
let go
take
of
you
my
and your
coat.
wife
Let
and
go of
put
my
them in
coat.
the
I will
river.
get out of here gladly. I have never in my entire life been treated like this in such a way that you would have to do this to me.
Come on,
I am leaving now. Stop it!
You want to get me killed?
Oh,
Did you see the size of that guy's? Jesus, his neck is the size of both my legs. He had muscles on his wrists. I've never seen that. What were you thinking?
It was interesting.
Interesting.
He was interesting.
Oh, somebody smeared jelly donut on the back window.
You cannot make this stuff up. It's incredible. He was interesting.
You almost killed
I didn't
me.
think anybody would care.
You can't just record people without
if they
them
don't
knowing.
know it, you can. What's the harm?
I'll tell you what the harm is. Getting choked by a mouthful of wrist muscles.
Okay, let's go get a drink.
No, you're not having another drink.
What do you mean another?
What do you mean? What do you mean? You've been at it all day.
No, I don't. No, what?
Every time I look away, you're knocking one back.
Well, I wouldn't if you weren't keeping score all the time.
I don't care if you drink. I don't know. I just care about being mistreated by you when you...
I don't mistreat you.
No, you just leave a microphone dangling out the car door on the sneak and record people that'll hurt me for it. I'm worried about your health.
Mind your own business!
After 10 hours of driving, Ernie has had enough. He just might be at the end of the road. With Jerry passed out in the car, he stands, smoking a cigarette, staring at the moon's reflection on the Hudson.
I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do. She finally took a downer and fell asleep. She's in the car with her chin in her chest. I'm somewhere along the Hudson in New York. Albany's nearby, my best guess. It's midnight. I'm standing on the banks, looking across at some hamlet, just enjoying the damn quiet. We started this morning in D.C., and that's a long haul. I just kept driving. It's just too much of a hassle putting her in front of people right now. I would have gotten a room. Oh, I just don't want to keep driving. I'm seeing things. I'm nodding off. So here we are, without a home, feeling lonely. My home is America.
What are you doing? No, this is my boyfriend. You can't talk to a person's boyfriend.
Go
You can't
back
put
to
someone on
the
side of
car.
road. You can leave it here.
Quiet.
It's my boyfriend. You can't leave family.
I
You don't
was
leave
just
family on the side of
talking.
the road. Care if they have a drink. It's not hurting
Go back
you.
to the
Give me
car.
the thing. No, you don't. You don't like it. You know, forget you. He's my boyfriend now, and he'll have a drink when he wants to, you fat-faced mustard eater. You don't lick mustard off me, you rat. He's a writer, you mustard eater, you. It's not a recording, people. What the hell? Get out of our way!
Of course. Excuse me, my dear.
Don't. My dear me. You crooked nose at me, beat Parker. We're doggone writers. Don't touch me, you traitor!
Back at the Pyle apartment, Washington, D.C., the very next morning.
Jerry. So if you're listening to this, that means you got my note. After you fell asleep, I don't know why I'm telling you this, you're not going to remember it. Anyway, yesterday we left home. We made it as far as Albany, New York. You were not yourself. Not yourself. The whole time. So, you're in no shape to do this, Geraldine. You have to take care of yourself. And I have a job to do, so... And I need my family. So quit all of this and come back to me, would you? For crying out loud. I need you. This work needs you. You need you. Is this life so bad that you have to... Am I so bad a man? Am I? Why, Jerry? Are you jealous of me? Why so angry? Oh boy. We could have so much fun. I'll be gone a few weeks, maybe a month. I'm gonna do the Ohio tour request. I'm gonna do it good and thorough too, then I swear we'll never have to go back there again, believe it. Anyway, when I pulled up the car to hear the mailman was, he greeted me with a letter from my mother, I kind of changed my mood. Then I put you to bed, and I was in a writing mood, so I typed this out, all right? I'm gonna drop it off to Lee before I leave. My mother wrote me that they had a new car. Well, not exactly a new car, she said, but it was pretty. A new car had been discussed for more than 6 months. My father and mother were to trade in their old car, and Aunt Mary, who was finally coming over to live with them, was to pay the cash balance. There had been some difference of opinion over what the new car should be. Finally, the weight of approval seemed to crystallize in Aunt Mary's choice, but they reckoned without the shoe dealer from Clinton. I don't know how he heard about them, but one day he pulled up in their driveway in last year's car. He had driven it only 5,000 miles, and it was a plum green color and very shiny, and the minute my folks saw it, everything was off. "Let's go to Indianapolis and show it to your sister," the shoe dealer said. So my folks got on their good clothes, and they climbed in and drove the 80 miles to Indianapolis. They got there just at lunchtime. Aunt Mary was so glad to see them at first, she didn't notice the car. They all stayed for lunch. My mother had taken over 3 frying chickens, a cake, and a quart of cream, so they wouldn't be imposing on the people Aunt Mary worked for. After lunch, they all went for a ride in the car. Aunt Mary was a little hard to sell, but my family and the shoe dealer pointed out to her such indispensable added attractions as the cigar lighter. Nobody in the family smoked. The 2 windshield wipers, the radio. I was ready to bet that within a week my father would get to listening and run the car into a ditch. The 2 taillights. Nobody who is anybody has a car with just one tail light nowadays, you know. And the curved nickel shields for the rear tires. Mother pointed out especially the beautiful plum green color of it. She didn't tell me in the letter whether the car had an engine or not. Anyway, the gadgets won, and the upshot was that when they left for home, the shoe dealer had sold his automobile. I think I need to add a little bit more to this here, and what do you think? Is that too sappy? I don't know. I need a few more paragraphs, so I'm going to be working on it. Anyway, I sure do need you right now, girl. I'm going to drop this off at the office on my way out of town, but folks will be checking in on you later. The doctor's coming. Amelia said she'd bring a doctor by. So it'll be good to see Amelia, won't it? I'll call in the next day or so, but you know how I feel about you, so.
Next time on the Ernie Pyle Experiment.
I am very angry, Ernest.
Drinking as much as you do will kill you. I am a nurse. I see it all the time.
I know why you left me at home. I was so very happy to be back in the car with you. I celebrated too much.
Is that what you want? Do you want to be forgotten about?
I already am.
But do you want to be?
Writing is important to you. I don't want to take that away in any way. Just leave me alone.
I will, just as soon as you tell me what you want.
What do you think of me, Ernie? What am I to you?
Hey, Rosie! I want something!
I'm Dan V. Prescott, wishing you would take heed of this advice. The good road will never end if you can only stay on it.
The Ernie Pyle Experiment is produced at WFIU on the campus of Indiana University. For complete credits of cast and crew for each episode and to find past episodes, visit WFIU.org/Ernie Pyle Podcast. Also, find the Ernie Pyle Experiment wherever you access your media.
WFIU, Bloomington, Indiana. I'm Carrie O'Nanan. You might be wondering what's going on with the sound of my voice. Last night I was involved in what they used to call a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. A young girl, all of 7 years, recognized me and called me that name. I turned to her father, and I kindly requested he muzzle his presumptuous little progeny when the unruly little Dickens jumped on the half wall in front of the First Christian Church and enthusiastically karate chopped me right in the larynx. Now, Bloomington, I'm not a proud man, but I certainly think a lot about myself, because I am Carrie O'Nanan. You will bend to my will, or I shall do something. And to the children of Bloomington, I'll tell you this. Right now, I will defend myself. This is my livelihood we're talking about.